Hey, what's up guys? Ibrahim here again, and today I have another tutorial for you. And this tutorial is going to be a combination of the two tutorials I've already shown you guys, which is Photoshop color correction and Cinema 4D text. So this one is going to show you guys how to put 3D text into an image and make it look real and as if it's actually there, rather than just like making just Cinema 4D text and placing it and making it look like it's just an actual image put on top of an image. So what you want to do first is get the image you're going to use, which is, so I'm just going to use this one, and add any color correction you want. I'm going to leave mine like this, or you can add color correction after you've put in the text to make it look extra real. And once you've done all the color correction you want, is File, Save As, PNG, and then you open up Cinema 4D, and this is where the real complicated stuff starts. First, just set the render settings. So output, I just set it to the maximum there is, but 1280 by 720 is what's recommended by Moed, so let's do that. And add an effect, ambient occlusion, set the contrast to about 40, and set the maximum ray length to 140, or around 40 or 30 is fine. And then change the format to PNG, check alpha channel, and add the depth of 16, and then you can cancel that. So first, click on the light and add a background, and then in the materials box at the bottom, double click or click on File New to create a new material, then double click that, delete specular, click on the texture tab and click Load Image, then find where you saved your image and then open it, click No, and now you've got the texture which is your image. Then drag the image onto the background, and then when you render that out, you've got your road here. So now that you've got this, you want to create a plane. So click this, you've got a plane, and this actually does fit, but if it doesn't work properly, then all you need to do is just realign the plane so that it looks like it's lying on the flat surface. So drag the material onto the plane as well. Oh, actually, for adding the material, expand the material by going on the object and changing it, or you can just drag the little points which are at the end. You can just drag those and drag this out, and then apply the material to it. And you'll see that when you render it out, it's like completely strange. So click on this, set the projection to frontal, and now you can see that it's aligned properly. Sorry, but you see that it's slightly dark. So click on this again, or even click on the plane, right click, click on Cinema 4D tags and add a compositing tab, and then click on compositing background. Now when you render it out, it looks much more real. So if you see these on the side, then you can just switch it back to, just change it to 1280 by 720, and that should reduce it slightly that way, but it doesn't really matter that much, so I'm just going to keep it there. But if you do wish to work like with standard settings, then 1280 by 720 is recommended. So once you've done that, click on MoGraph and then add some Mo text. So once you've done that, uh, just realign this with the oh, what am I doing? Just realign this like you want. Don't tilt it backwards or forwards because that looks strange. Because if you want it to look like it's lying down on the road, then you don't want to do that. So just rotate it, and that looks pretty good. And since you've added the ambient occlusion, that'll automatically add sort of shadows, and this looks pretty good. And as you can see here, it looks like it's actually there, but is how to make it ultra realistic. So first, actually, just type the text in. So I'm just going to type in Axon. Oh, my computer's really heated. And click on font. Click on whichever font you want. I've got my new laptop, so I haven't got any good fonts. So, and then you can decrease the size as well by clicking the resize tab and dragging your mouse. So I'm just gonna resize it, change this 30, add some caps. And you can see that already is starting to look quite realistic. So what I'm going to do is align it in the middle, drag it over, render it out again. And if you've got a slow computer, I wouldn't recommend using ambient occlusion because it does use up quite a bit of memory. So yeah, that's just warning. And I'm just doing a constraint so that the caps go inwards. But now you want to create a new texture for your actual text. So double click here again, or go File New, double click on it, and I'm gonna pick a really dark gray, and then add a reflection. Click on the texture and add a Fresnel and change it to about 30%, and actually change to about 50% both. Now drag it, and if you want you can also add a slight luminance just to like brighten up the area slightly, but I'm just gonna add this, and you can see here that it's reflecting the ground, which is the plane, and that's the main reason for the plane being there, all for the shadows as well as for this. So it's already got shadows there, but if you want to add extra shadows, you can click on the light here. You can just click it once, or you can click it, hold it, and click it. So just drag it up, drag it over. But before doing any of this though, I recommend just finding out where the point of light actually originates from. So in this, it's like it seems to be coming from most directions because it's quite a calm sky. So that's why you can just place it anywhere. Just placing it right above will do fine. Just gonna take it out a bit, and then click on Shadow and Shadow Map Soft in the Generals tab after click on the light. Then click on Shadow, but first if you render it, you'll see that it casts quite dark shadows, which you don't want because none of the other um, parts of the image, sorry, none of the other parts of the image have any that dark shadows. So you want to set it down to maybe about 70%, and this will vary depending on which image you're using. So say you're using like a really dark image, then you'll need to set really dark um, shadows, whereas if you're also in a really bright light environment, you want to use uh, dark shadows. But whereas this is quite calm light, I'm going to reduce it down to about 40, and yeah, that looks pretty good. That adds quite a calm light, and you can see that it looks really quite realistic right now. So yeah, and if you want, you can also add a sky environment, and this way when it renders, it'll render as a sky. And you can, if you want, add a material to the sky, and this will, oh no, you don't want to do that actually. First you want to make it frontal, although that doesn't completely solve your problem, but it will solve most of it. And this way it'll reflect like um, everything around it, but but this way it looks really reflective, although it does look realistic. So first go on Cinema 4D tags and then click compositing background, and then you want to change the material and change the reflection down to 20% and maybe 25%. This should reduce some of the reflections. Yeah, it does. So yeah, there you go. Pretty nice. You can also add a glow. I'm just seeing what this would look like. Wow. But yeah, you can just experiment how you want the text to look like. This looks pretty nice to me so far. So once you've finished making the text, just specify a file path. I'm just gonna save it on in my graphics folder as, and once you've done that, render it, and just wait for this to render. And I'll just get back to you guys once it's finished rendering. So it's almost finished rendering, guys, and now it's finished. So another thing you can also do is instead of, you can take away the background, say like this, and instead just have the plane, which you can render separately and apply to the background. But the problem with this is that you need to align it perfectly. So I don't recommend doing this. But if you only want the shadows, there are methods to do this, but they're extremely complicated. And yeah, it's already been 14 minutes, so I won't have time to explain those. But once you've done that, you can just cancel out or save it, and then go into Photoshop, click in File, Open, find your image, and then one sec. Yeah. So then you can just create a new layer, click Convert to Smart Object, and or you can just drag it in, but can't be able to open the folder, and click Replace Contents, click on Rotate test, then this will, and since it was such a big file, press Ctrl T, Alt Shift, resize it perfectly, and one second, I'll zoom in slightly actually. Control T, zoom in slightly, enter, Control T, but the problem with this is that you can't align it perfectly, so that's why you should just use the same image. Can't think straight. You should just use the same dimensions as your image, and that will give it the perfect quality. And so I'll show you again with the render settings of this. So that's 2410 by 1440. So go into Cinema 4D and check out the channel 2410 1440, and then cancel, check, and check. Now you can render it again, and then change the output name, render it, and whilst it's rendering, I'll just show you how to add some color correction if you want, but you need this in the background just to do this, because I forgot to uncheck alpha channel, because that way the sky won't show. So, but this way you can just line up straight. So just if you want, you can add a gradient map. So first it's like this, but always make darker color first. So I'm just gonna add a dark red and perhaps a light green, and drag this up slightly, then set the blend mode to overlay, or you can also change it to soft light, then more or less do the same thing. You can see that it's added like a slight blur thing, nice addition, and let's see what this would look like. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. A nice brightness. And has it finished rendering? Yes, it has. And you can also do this. I'll open, and this way it's finished completely. So it's basically the same thing except less squatted. It's the actual full size, because I had to squeeze this in slightly. So yeah guys, you can add all the color correction you need. So you can also add curves and stuff. So sorry guys, this has been a bit too long. I know I forgot some of the stuff I was supposed to say, so that was a fail by me. But yeah guys, thumbs up the video if you liked it, and see you guys later. Bye.